This is Kim Meyer, host of Choose to Rise. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Emily, host of Beauties and Headcanons here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come and check out my show, Beauties and Headcanons, where we talk about nerdy theories, games, TV shows, books, movies, you name it. We're here to talk nerdy to you. A new show comes out every Friday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
In some way or another, we're all connected to the theater. Maybe it's a holiday tradition to venture to a play performance with your family. Maybe you were dragged tooth and nail by your teacher to take the stage for a school play. Maybe you heard a soothing melody from a song from a musical and you had to seek out the rest of the piece. No matter who you are, you probably have a connection to the stage. I'm pretty positive I was always a theatrical kind of guy. Primarily performing in primary school plays, I was enthralled in the idea of venturing in front of the lights and transcending myself into an entirely different character. Some of my critically acclaimed roles span from the Chinese icon Confucius to a rapping Elvis. Yes, that actually happened. Unfortunately, all of the files of this event have been destroyed due to a terrible incident involving a sledgehammer. But I'd be happy to drop a verse for anyone who would enjoy that. Not performing much in high school, and yearning for that feeling one final time, I joined the drama club my senior year for the production of Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None. Taking on the smaller role of the ignorantly sinister Anthony Marston, I threw myself into the character in Christie's other work. It was one of my favorite high school experiences, so I was ecstatic to hear that Kenneth Branagh would bring Christie's mystery, Murder-on-the-Orient-Express, to the silver screen. Did the film live up to my monstrous mystery expectations? My name is Sam Kirby, reporting for Public House Media, and welcome to the latest installment of Cinema Stories with Sam Kirby, the show where we get theatrical, talking movie and TV news and reviews. This week we discuss Sir Kenneth Branagh's latest mystery, Murder on the Orient Express, as well as Will Forte's latest television passion project, The Last Man on Earth. So, as a rapping Elvis once said, thank you very much. For tuning in, let's talk Branagh's new flick. Now I think anyone, me, you, the greatest detective in the world, and I'm not talking about Batman, anyone can review a film by analyzing 5 major aspects of filmmaking: the plot, the direction and cinematography, character and performance. The plot of Murder on the Orient Express takes place in 1934 and follows Hercule Poirot, one of the finest detectives in the entire world, with one of the greatest mustaches in the entire world. After obtaining a seat on the illustrious Orient Express, Poirot interacts with each of the colorful characters on the train. On the third morning of the voyage, the corpse of a malevolent passenger is discovered. Whilst the train is stopped by an avalanche, Poirot must discover the identity of the crafty killer and rectify the imbalance of justice. Being based on an Agatha Christie novel, the plot presents itself as a simple murder mystery. A group of eccentric characters are trapped in an enclosed area, and the tension rises as the detective attempts to uncover the killer. Though there is a thought-provoking and surprising twist at the end of the film, the plot is your basic murder mystery. The film excels in its cinematography and much of Branagh's direction. Kenneth Branagh's stamp is all over this movie. Sir Kenneth is a theatrical man, often celebrating Shakespeare and other works of old. There's gravitas to his direction. It contains comedic elements from time to time, a sinister melancholy at others, and slow pacing throughout. Unfortunately, the pace isn't always a benefit. I am a big fan of murder mysteries. I was interested in the story, but there are many scenes of Poirot just sitting around and talking. The pace can drag throughout the second act. This is one of the only issues I really had with the film, though. Otherwise, I don't see anyone else directing this movie than Branagh. His execution of certain sequences are beautiful, slow, and sinisterly complex at the same instance. The motif of imbalance throughout pays off well in the character of Poirot, and the final revelation sequence is quietly disturbing yet satisfying. Branagh is using Christie's work to focus a lens on the seemingly taboo, sinister nature of man through the eyes of Poirot. Though tedious at parts, Branagh's direction is assured. The cinematography in this film is striking. The director of photography is Harris Zamber-Lucas. He previously worked with Branagh on the first Thor film, using lighting, set design, and costume to their fullest, while utilizing a variety of meaningful shots. Every image in this film could be presented as a painting. The cinematography of Murder on the Orient Express is second to one, and that one is Kenneth Branagh as Hercule Poirot. Kenneth Branagh's performance as Hercule Poirot is the shining light of this movie. He runs away with the show, being comedic at moments, yet displaying a believable dramatic character. Poirot seems to know everything, yet at the same time is a complete stranger to the darker morality of man. Daisy Ridley is fantastic here, as well as Josh Gad, Michelle Pfeiffer, Leslie Odom Jr., and even Johnny Depp are all great in supporting roles. This is an ensemble film. Some characters don't get much room to stretch out, like Sergei Polilin's character. Though not all fleshed out, these characters stay true to Agatha Christie's style, with exceptional performances, especially Branagh's. Though suffering from some pacing issues and a few weak characters, Murder on the Orient Express excels with gorgeous visuals, assured direction, stylish swagger, and an excellent ensemble, highlighted by Branagh's lead performance. Branagh issues a statement on the complexity of man with an 83-year-old novel, which is insanely cool. I give Murder on the Orient Express 3.75 out of 5 stars. Branagh delivers a theatrical film and performance which I can definitely recommend to any audience. From the death of one to the death of the entire human race. Jeez, this episode is depressing. Now let's talk The Last Man on Earth. In 2015, Will Forte released his long-awaited passion project, The Last Man on Earth, on Fox. Critics and viewers alike were mixed on the show, and I wasn't too familiar with Forte, besides his work on How I Met Your Mother, as the nose-bleeding Randy. Being a college student who's either working on homework, eating, lots and lots of eating, or binging TV, my roommate and I endeavored in watching The Last Man on Earth. The plot follows the unlikable character of Phil, coming to grips with the unsavory truth that he might be the lone survivor of an extinction-level event. Or at least for the first episode. Phil meets a group of survivors, and he must learn to coexist in this new society. The plot is what really drew me to the series. It contains an interesting premise with a plethora of ways the series could venture. Unfortunately, the bit of being the last person to exist ends abruptly. Though the shtick ends quickly, the series still contains some interesting storylines. The growing family deals with interpersonal quarrel while battling elements brought about by the disease that swept over the world. Though Will Forte doesn't continue as the last man on Earth, the storylines are entertaining enough, though after 4 seasons they are becoming a little bit stale. I've really enjoyed Will Forte's character's progression in the story. He treads the line between annoying and sincere, as well as Kristen Schall's Carol, Phil's love interest. January Jones brings a dry humor to her role as Melissa, and her interactions with Mel Rodriguez as Todd are the highlights of the series. Mary Steenburgen stands out in her role and has numerous quality moments of drama and comedy. Erica, played by Cleopatra Coleman, is easily the weakest character in the show, but she's never dead weight. All of the characters are entertaining to watch. The series has great running gags involving a character named Pat and hilarious cameos. The music is also really memorable and well used in the series. With a premise that doesn't quite live up to the absurdity of its title, The Last Man on Earth is still a funny television series. The music, characters, risks, and black comedy of earlier seasons have propelled the show as watchable. Though the series seems to be losing some of its bite, and the writing isn't as incredible as it could be, Will Forte's project brings some mild entertainment. I give The Last Man on Earth 3.3 out of 5 stars. Now that we've solved the murder mystery and survived the apocalypse, let's keep up to date with the latest news stories out of the entertainment industry. These are today's cinema stories. Are you a fan of terrible comic book adaptations from the late 90s and early 2000s? Then this film may not be for you. According to ScreenRant.com, Todd McFarlane is moving forward with a script for a Spawn reboot. The film will be released through Blumhouse, the studio behind The Visit, Split, and Get Out. The Spawn character received a dismal 1997 treatment that was met with universally negative reviews. Shooting for the Spawn reboot may begin in the February of 2018. So, in 1977, a small independent film was released. There were no expectations for this film, yet it overperformed. No, I'm not talking about Annie Hall, one of my top 10 favorite movies. I'm talking about another one of my top 10 favorite movies, Star Wars. As weird as it sounds, Star Wars was a risk back in the day, and oh how times have changed. According to Variety.com, Star Wars The Last Jedi is reportedly tracking for a $200 million opening during its primary weekend at the theaters. The Force Awakens, the previous installment of the series, made $248 million domestically its opening weekend. Though it's in doubt, let's see if the sequel can surpass its predecessor. According to CinemaBlend.com, Ben Mendelsohn of Star Wars Rogue One fame is looking to take up the mantle as a comic icon. Mendelsohn expressed his interest in playing the iconic Doctor Doom. He praised the villain as the greatest comic book character of all time. As mentioned before, he starred as the villainous Krennic in Rogue One and is known for his role in the series Bloodline. Word is out on Fox's intention with the infamous Fantastic Four villain, but Mendelsohn's words have many fans excited. He could bring a quiet intensity to the role, and though it's just talk, it would be quality casting. So, as rapping Elvis once sneered, it's time to jailhouse rock right on out of here. Stop trying to make rapping Elvis work. It's never going to work. Yes, it will. I have dreams. I want to thank everyone who tuned in today. Thanks for the constant love and support I've received since starting the show. I always appreciate comments and messages to let me know how I'm doing. A huge thanks to Emily Eloquist in particular, a fellow Public House Media host. I've guest hosted on her show, Beauties and Headcanons, twice now, and she does awesome work analyzing nerd fandom, the characters, and their backstories. She's given me a ton of support during my time here at Public House Media, and everyone should definitely check out her show. Thanks, Emily, for the support. If you like the show, please share and download, and let me know how I can improve. You can follow me on Twitter at Samuel_J_Kirby or SamKirby17 on Instagram. Thanks to Public House Media for letting me host and do what I love. Make sure you like them on Facebook and check out their other great content. A special thanks to Dion Key and We Is Short for the music choices here today. What I love about filmmaking is the theatrics of it. The performances, the set designs, the costumes. The theater screams through the camera. Whether it's a murder mystery adaptation, a larger-than-life performance, or the passion project of a little-known comedian, we all take something out of the theatrics of cinema. Bye!